The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. holds a bilateral meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida at the Malacanang Palace. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. appoints fishing tycoon Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. as the new Department of Agriculture Secretary. A political analyst believes the Chinese propaganda about the West Philippine Sea issue won't have much impact to sway Filipinos' opinion. And Russian President Vladimir Putin withdraws Moscow's consent to the global treaty banning nuclear weapon tests. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, November 3, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen at 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardin Delgado. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. extended a warm welcome to Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida at Malacanang Palace, an event that unfolded around 6 in the evening. The Prime Minister was accorded with arrival honors and signs of the guest book, a customary diplomatic protocol before proceeding to a private meeting with the President. Following these formalities, the two leaders engaged in a private meeting where they delved into key matters of mutual interest. The bilateral meeting between President Marcos Jr. and Prime Minister Kishida revolved around enhancing the robust relations between the Philippines and Japan. These discussions spanned various domains, including economic development, development partnership, security cooperation, and fostering people-to-people ties. Tighter security is being implemented at Batasang Pambansa Complex ahead of the Philippine Congress joint session for Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Kishida is the first Japanese premier to address a joint session. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
At 11 in the morning of Saturday, November 4, the 19th Congress of the Philippines will convene for a joint session. This is to honor the visiting Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who is set to deliver a speech before the Philippine Congress. The Philippine and Japanese flags are installed on the center of island of Batasan Road in Quezon City. Strict security measures have been put in place, enveloping the Batasang Pambansa complex. Prime Minister Kishida's address holds a distinct place in history as he becomes the first Japanese premier to speak before a joint session of the Philippine Congress. Meanwhile, Senate President Juan Miguel Mig-Zubiri said there were only 5 times in the Philippine history in which a joint session was accorded for a visiting foreign head of state. And it is an honor that the Prime Minister accepted his invitation to address the Filipino people through the Congress. Japan is the largest bilateral source of the Philippines' official development assistance, Senator Zubiri added. For House Speaker Martin Romualdez, he hopes that through the discussions with the Japanese premier, new pathways for collaboration and development will emerge, promising enhanced opportunities and a brighter future for all Filipinos in the Philippines and Japan. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The government of Israel has made a pledge that will provide much-needed relief to Filipinos caught in the midst of the ongoing conflict in war-torn Gaza. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced during a palace briefing that Israeli President Isaac Herzog has granted permission for Filipinos to leave this trip. This humanitarian decision will see the exit of Filipinos from the Gaza Strip, with arrangements set to be executed by this weekend, specifically on Friday or Saturday. President Marcos explained that this positive development was made possible through the dedicated efforts of Israeli Ambassador to the Philippines, Ilan Flus, who facilitated communication between the Foreign Minister of Israel and Philippine Ambassador Juni Lailo. Ambassador Lailo, in his role as a bridge between the two nations, also had a crucial meeting with the Israeli Foreign Minister on Thursday, which culminated in the commitment to allow Filipinos to pass through the Rafah border crossing.
So may pangako sila sa atin na maipapalabas na ang mga Pinoy, mga Pilipino, maipapalabas na by today or tomorrow. That is what they promised us, Saturday daw at the latest.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has appointed fishing tycoon Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. as Department of Agriculture Secretary, relinquishing the cabinet portfolio he held concurrently since taking office last year. Nelma Revokes reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered the new Department of Agriculture Chief Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. to gain control of the rising agricultural prices. The President handed the mantle of DA Secretary to Secretary Laurel after more than a year of holding the position himself.
Well, the obvious one is trying gain control of the prices of all the agricultural commodities that are going up. At tinatamaan tayo ng, yun na nga, yung napag-usapan ko, climate change, alam nyo na lahat yung swine flu, alam nyo na lahat yung avian flu na tumatama sa atin.
The President said Secretary Laurel knows how the agricultural system works in the Philippines. Moreover, the President highlighted Secretary Laurel's extensive network and connections as valuable assets in tackling the agricultural challenges, including those posed by climate change. Secretary Laurel, who has a distinguished background as the former president of a fishing corporation and a member of the agriculture sector group within the Private Sector Advisory Council of President Marcos, brings a wealth of experience to the role. He has also held various positions in different companies, further underscoring his qualifications. In his speech, Secretary Laurel said he accepted the challenge to lead the DA as he thanked President Marcos for his trust and confidence and vowed to continue the advocacies and programs of the government in the agricultural sector.
Well, ang hingin ko lang sa kanila talaga sa ngayon is their full cooperation dahil importanteng buo ang departamento sa isang goal, no, which is basically modernization at increase of production. Yan ho ang marching order sa atin ni Presidente.
Secretary Laurel said his office will remain open to all farmers and fishermen. He emphasized that he is close to the sector for he personally witnessed their struggles and their aspirations for the agricultural sector. Nelma Revokes, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
The remains of Angeline Agir, one of the 4 Filipino overseas workers who tragically lost their lives in the Hamas-Israel conflict, have returned to her homeland today. In a solemn ceremony, her remains were handed over to her grieving family late this afternoon at the Parañaque City Pairpag Center. Tomorrow, the government will pay tribute to Angeline with a hero's welcome in her hometown of Binmali, Pangasinan. She demonstrated extraordinary courage by choosing to stay and stand by her elderly Israeli patient when the militant group Hamas launched an attack on their kibbutz in southern Israel last October 7, even when she had the chance to escape. Her bravery did not go unnoticed. It was recognized by the Israeli government. Alongside the various forms of assistance from the Philippine government, Israel will also provide burial support and a lifetime pension to Angeline's family.
Hinahanda na rin natin yung lugar doon sa Pangasinan para maging maayos yung kanyang burol. Pamilya, kasama natin, kausap natin. So iniisa-isa natin lahat ng mga pangangailangan nila para naman yung kanilang pinagdaraanan kahit paano mabawas-bawasan yung grief kahit katiting. And then the government of Israel will also be providing financial assistance. Meron pa nga itong aside from the funeral, meron pa itong monthly na tatanggapin na habang buhay. And then annual. So bubuhos lahat ng tulong dito sa pamilya.
The Commission on Elections or COMELEC is gearing up for yet another pivotal electoral endeavor. Just days following the recently concluded Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan Elections or BSKE. Dante Almento tells us why.
In just 1 month's time, on December 9, 2023, The 3rd District of Negros Oriental Province is slated to hold special elections. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia, has announced that the preparations are in full swing for this constitutional exercise.
Mataas na rin po yung paghahanda namin. In fact, ngayon nakafocus na kami kaya tayo magpapamiting din ngayong hapon.
The special polls will determine the representative for the vacant post left by the expelled Congressman Arnulfo Arniteves Jr. According to Garcia, the window for filing certificates of candidacy, or COC, has been set from November 6 to 11, 2023. The 3rd Congressional District of Negros Oriental currently boasts a total of 301,264 regular registered voters, equivalent to the total number of ballots to be printed for the upcoming elections.
Isang araw lang may imprenta namin yon na yung mga balota na iyan. And magkakaroon na rin kami ng mga procurement para sa mga gagamitin natin katulad ng mga indelible ink at iba pang kagamitan ng Commission election. So hopefully before the end of November, matapos tayo because we would like to deliver by the first week of December.
Meanwhile, the Commission is also eyeing to put the entire 3rd District of Negros Oriental under COMELEC control over the special elections. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, the Israel Defense Forces have successfully encircled Gaza City amid presses from the United Nations to carry out a ceasefire. Jane Robles will tell us why.
The Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, spokesperson Admiral Daniel Hagari made a significant announcement on Thursday, November 3. The IDF has successfully surrounded Gaza City despite facing multiple hit-and-run attacks by Hamas forces. This development comes during a period of heightened tensions in the region. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed this announcement and declared that the conflict has reached its most critical point. He believes that the operation is on course to bring down the militant group Hamas. However, this situation is not without its costs. The IDF has reported the loss of 18 soldiers during this operation. In contrast, a spokesperson from Hamas claims that Israel's death toll is significantly higher than what has been officially announced. The civilian population in Gaza is enduring severe hardships, including shortages of food, water, and medicine. As a result, members of the United Nations are urgently calling for an immediate ceasefire to alleviate the suffering of innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. In response to this calls for a ceasefire, the United States remains opposed to the idea and continues to emphasize its support for Israel's right to self-defense. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken is scheduled to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu to discuss the possibility of allowing humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip and to explore future plans for Gaza and the Palestinian state. Jane Robles, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Russia has revoked the ratification of the global treaty banning nuclear weapon tests. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, or CNBTO, condemned the move, and Western arms experts fear that Moscow is planning to test their nuclear weapons. Ann Gonzalez explains why.
Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a law on Thursday, November 2nd, withdrawing Russia's consent to the global treaty banning nuclear weapon tests. The decision was approved by the Russian parliament and took immediate effect. Washington expressed deep concern over the matter, stating that Russia's move represented a significant step in the wrong direction. Moscow, however, said that its decision to revoke the ratification of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty is simply a plot to bring Russia into line with the United States, which signed but never ratified the treaty. Russian diplomats added that Moscow's nuclear weapon test would not resume unless Washington does. The organization that promotes the treaty condemned Russia's deratification, but was not surprised by the move, as Russia and the United States have had conflicts since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis over the war in Ukraine. Robert Floyd, the head of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, or CTBTO, had tried to lobby senior Russian officials to persuade them to change their mind, but failed. He expressed his disappointment in his X post, saying the decision was deeply regrettable. Furthermore, some Western arms control experts stated that Russia might be itching for a nuclear test to intimidate Ukraine and evoke fear in the region. Putin has not made a decision yet from his remark on October 5th, when he said that he was not ready yet to say whether or not Russia should resume the nuclear testing. Ann Gonzalez, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Marvi. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The government has announced its intention to ban commercial fishing in 3 major fishing grounds across the country. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BIFAR, has stepped forward to reassure the public that despite the implementation of a closed fishing season in these vital areas, there will be measures in place to guarantee a sufficient supply of fish. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Repopulation of fish should be given time. The repopulation of fish requires time, and this is the primary goal of the closed fishing season implemented in Palawan since November 1. The program is set to last for 3 months.
Itong ginagawa nating closed fishing season, isa po itong conservation measure para magkaroon ng pagkakataon ng ating fish stocks na makapag-repopulate.
Fish from Palawan serves as the main source of supply for the Nabotas fish port. However, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BIFAR, assures that there is an ample supply of fish, as they have allowed the importation of 35,000 metric tons of small pelagic fish, including ground scad, mackerel, bonito, and moonfish. BIFAR states that this importation will ensure a sufficient and stable supply, thereby stabilizing prices.
Tuloy-tuloy ito sa mga susunod pang mga araw at magtatapos naman ito doon sa panahon na papabukas na itong ating mga fishing grounds, dahil ang layunin naman natin, ayaw natin magkaroon ng competition sa pagitan ng local production at dito sa ating importation.
Furthermore, BIFAR will also enforce a closed fishing season in Zamboanga and the Visayan Sea on November 15 for the fish used in sardines production. The agency notes that consumers may explore alternative options such as aquaculture fish like tilapia and milkfish. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A political analyst believes that Chinese propaganda about the West Philippine Sea issue won't have much impact. This amid the reported pro-China influencers on social media trying to sway public opinion by pushing China's narrative on the West Philippine Sea issue. Professor Edmund Diao says this might even backfire on China with the rising tensions in the disputed waters.
Siguro kung sinimulan nila ito bago pa nagkaroon ng mga iringan, bago pa nagkaroon ng banggaan, nagkaroon ng tensyon, kumbaga bago pa na-heighten ng emosyon ng mga Pinoy, siguro baka naging effective pa. But starting it right now, even heightening it right now, might even boomerang sa kanila. I hope that they are at least measuring the impact of their work, no? Kasi at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to make any difference. Baka nga mas lalo pang masama.
Earlier, Defense Secretary Gilberto Gibotiadoro Jr. said that China's disinformation and information operations are part of its playbook. The United States Navy clarifies that its ongoing mission in Asia Pacific is not in any way a response to any nation. This amid the rising tensions in the South China Sea, including the maritime dispute between China and the Philippines. U.S. Navy Captain Claudine Kalawari says the mission is conducted annually, which aims to work with partner nations to enhance regional operability and disaster response capabilities. While she cannot comment on the U.S. response on China's recent actions in the West Philippine Sea, Kalawari calls it as destabilizing and threatens regional security and prosperity. The U.S. Navy official notes that the Pacific Partnership aims to secure stability and foster new and enduring friendship in the Indo-Pacific.
Pacific Partnership is conducted yearly, so it's not in response to any nation or current events. So the focus is disaster relief preparation. For more than 70 years, the U.S. Navy has maintained a persistent maritime presence in the Indo-Pacific, and we remain committed to continuing this forward presence, which is focused on stability, regional cooperation, and economic prosperity for all nations.
Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX, is taking proactive measures to ensure the safety of its passengers. With an anticipated influx of 150,000 passengers each day over the weekend, the terminal is committed to maintaining a secure and organized environment. JP Nunez will tell us why.
As of 7 p.m. today, the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX, recorded a foot traffic of more than 100,000. According to its management, this figure is considered routine for the terminal on an average day. However, looking ahead to tomorrow, November 4 and November 5, there is an expectation of a significant surge in passenger numbers. This surge is attributed to individuals who have taken advantage of the extended holiday period and are set to return to their provinces or to Metro Manila over the weekend.
Inaasahan po natin na dadagsa ang mga tao pabalik galing probinsya dito sa Manila simula tomorrow hanggang Monday po.
PITX Corporate Affairs Officer Colin Calbasa noted that during these 2 days, they anticipate the passenger count to potentially exceed 150,000 each day. This projection brings to mind the similar passenger numbers recorded on October 29, which saw a peak of 159,000 passengers. It was a day marked by a massive exodus, with people heading out to participate in the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections and visit cemeteries. In light of this anticipated influx, PITX remains steadfast in ensuring the safety and security of commuters.
Sobrang handa naman po tayo dahil meron tayong PNP augmentation within the vicinity and the terminal, and of course, roving canines just to check yung mga bagahe ng ating pasahero, and of course, yung security and safety ng ating mga pasahero.
The PITX Transportation Hub is designed to accommodate a maximum capacity of up to 200,000 passengers. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
North Luzon Expressway personnel have kept a vigilant watch on the Bocaue and Balintawak toll plazas throughout the night due to the substantial volume of vehicles in the RFID lanes. Thousands of motorists are still having RFID stickers installed, as many have only recently begun to adopt this technology. Some vehicles already possess RFID stickers, albeit some of these stickers have expired or become unreadable, affecting the flow of traffic for motorists entering and exiting Metro Manila. Nestor Torres details why.
The influx of motorists entering and leaving Metro Manila continues without a pause following the extended holiday period at the Bocaue and Balintawak toll plazas. Since this morning, the line in the RFID installation lanes has not seen a decrease. This is due to the multiple of motorists having RFID stickers installed, replaced, or loaded. They are the ones experiencing frustrations due to the slow-moving traffic.
O kasi yung pila nung
mga sasakyan dito sa toll sobrang haba. Nakaka-consume ng oras. Abala, lalo na yung mga mag-aatid sa airport. Mas okay siguro RFID.
Hindi siya mabasa. Kasi dinikit yung unang nagdikit nun, hindi niya tinanggalan ng kwan doon sa kone, yung may tint. Hindi siya mabasa kaya pinapa-replace ko ngayon.
Almost 3 years na po, hindi nagpapakabit ng RFID. Hindi na po kasi nakakapasok sa pag walang RFID. Wala nang cash lane. Kailangan na kasi. Iwas din po sa traffic.
To alleviate traffic in the toll lanes, the NLEX management has suggested a couple of convenient options. They recommend loading your RFID online or through GCash transactions. According to NLEX traffic manager Robin Ignacio, the dry run for 100% cashless transaction is ongoing. In the future, the full implementation of RFID, where cash transactions will no longer be accepted, will be enforced to all plazas on the North Luzon Expressway and the Subic-Clark-Tarlac Expressway.
Sana yung ating mga motorista na wala pang RFID na magpakabit na ngayong dry run at para mas handa na po tayo kung talagang mag-implement na ng 100% RFID ng mga expressways.
Meanwhile, at the Bukawe and Balintawak toll plazas, RFID installation services are available 24 hours a day. They have also set up RFID installation lanes at smaller toll plazas when needed. All signage for cash lane has been removed, requiring all vehicles, including trucks and buses, to have RFID stickers installed. Anticipated heavy traffic is expected on Sunday evening and during the early hours of Monday, particularly at the Bukawi Toll Plaza at travelers return to Metro Manila. Nestor Torres, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The United States Senate has confirmed the historic appointment of Admiral Lisa Franchetti, marking a significant milestone as she becomes the first woman to lead the U.S. Navy. Mavin Carizo tells us why.
The United States Senate has confirmed the appointment of Admiral Lisa Franchetti as the leader of the U.S. Navy. In a resounding vote of 95-1, this historic confirmation has set a new milestone in the nation's military history. Admiral Franchetti now becomes the first woman to hold the prestigious position of leading the Pentagon's military service branch and stand as the inaugural female member of the Joint Chief of Staff. At the age of 38, Admiral Franchetti brings a wealth of experience to her new role, having previously led the U.S. 6th Fleet and U.S. Naval Forces in South Korea. Her distinguished career also includes serving as an aircraft carrier strike commander, cementing her reputation as a leader of extraordinary caliber. In addition to Admiral Franchetti's appointment, other key roles have been filed, including General David Elvin as the Chief of Staff for the U.S. Air Force and Lieutenant General Christopher Mahoney as the Assistant Commandant for the U.S. Marine Corps. These nominees have been described by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin as outstanding leaders who have faithfully served the country for decades. However, this significant moment in the nation's military leadership was not without its controversies. Alabama Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville protested the Pentagon's abortion policy by blocking 400 military nominations. In response, Republican senators took to the Senate floor, where they held the chamber for over 4 hours and brought 61 nominations to vote while praising the nominees. Mavin Carizo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The first major legislative action under the leadership of United States Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, dubbed the poison pill by Democrats, has passed the House of Representatives. The Republican Party's plan to provide $14.3 billion in aid to Israel only and to cut funding for the Internal Revenue Service has been approved by the lower chamber. However, Democrats assert that these measures will not pass the Senate because they primarily benefit Israel. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has promised to veto the bill and instead asked for approval of a broader $106 billion emergency package. This comprehensive package includes funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, as well as humanitarian aid. The ongoing dispute between the two chambers means that Congress's approval of any emergency spending plan could be delayed by weeks. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Marvi Delfin, live from Australia. Good evening.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Psalms, chapter 138, verse 6, it says, "Though the Lord be high, yet hath he respect unto the lowly, but the proud he knoweth afar off." And those are the reasons behind the news, November 3, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold, because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.